Hello to you and welcome to this second training unit, practice of some theories related to the teaching and learning of mathematics, of the third module, teaching and learning of mathematics. In this training unit, we will mainly be presenting and discussing the different theories relating to the teaching and learning of mathematics. First of all, imagine a maths teacher, a colleague, in service in a public or private secondary school in Cameroon, who, during his lessons, just solves exercises alone, does not ask questions to students, does not care whether the students understand him or not, only takes care of the chalkboard, does not motivate students to like maths, and so on. According to you, what can you say about your colleague's teaching method? What is the place of the students in this teaching method? How will the results of the students of such a teacher be? Is the teaching method of the colleague effective? What can you say about the teaching and learning theories applied by this colleague? As you have guessed, the previous questions question the teaching and learning theories applied by this teacher in a classroom situation. As an in-service or pre-service maths teacher, this subject may not be new to you. Indeed, during your training or during a seminar, this notion has been introduced to you. However, it is important to note that it is what we think we know already that often prevents us from learning. This is why your full attention throughout this training unit is needed in order to revisit together the different theories related to teaching and learning so as to question the impact of these in your different classroom practices. This is why in this training unit, we will mainly answer the following questions. What is learning? What is teaching? What are the different teaching and learning theories that you can use in your different classroom practices? What are the characteristics of these different theories? What are the advantages and disadvantages of these different theories? Is there a better teaching and learning theory? Are these different theories equal? Which theories produce the best results for your learners? Before we delve into the different teaching and learning theories that you can use in your classroom as a maths educator, let's try together to answer the following questions. What is teaching? What is learning? Teaching is helping the student to learn, to build knowledge. As a maths teacher, what is essential for you before, during, and after teaching is to know the way each of your students learns through differentiation. Check that each student builds a correct understanding or a good representation of the concept taught through the different forms of assessment, which will be presented during the training unit 6 of this module. Learning. The notion of learning can be understood in several ways, depending on the theory of learning involved. Generally, learning is about building knowledge that we will be able to reinvest in a specific situation. This is why, for a student to learn mathematics, it is essential that he is aware of what we are trying to make him understand and why. Let him be aware of how he is learning, and above all, that he wants to learn. Since the notion of learning varies depending on the theory involved, it is important for a maths teacher to master these different theories or pedagogies especially the advantages and disadvantages of each. For better mathematics teaching, you as a teacher must use several theories or pedagogies relating to the teaching and learning of mathematics during a math lesson. Therefore, while preparing your math lessons, you should take into account the learning theories that you want to apply during the course of the lesson. It is therefore important for you as a math teacher to better understand the different possible pedagogic choices so that you can make a wise choice depending on each activity you have planned. In the practice of teachers, we usually find the influence of the following pedagogic models: Transmissive pedagogy, Behaviorist pedagogy, Cognitivist pedagogy, Constructivist pedagogy, and Socio-constructivist pedagogy. Transmissive pedagogy. Transmissive pedagogy favors the relationship between teacher and knowledge. In this pedagogy, the teacher is sacred and occupies the place of a prophet or of an almighty God who speaks to the ignorant student eager for knowledge. Knowledge is put in the place of God with the same deification. The student is virgin of everything. He is the disciple. In this model, the error can only come from the pupil. If there is a fault, there must be a sanction. The one who knows, that is the teacher, has authority and nothing to be ashamed of. It is the model of the preceptor. There is no interaction between students. It assumes that the student can't perfectly understand, explain, or master a knowledge. The student is eager to know. The student does not question the model and accepts its submission. This model works and has been proven at the time. But for whom? How can you use it today? Behaviorist pedagogy. The behaviorist model emphasizes the different forms of conditioning that lead to behavior changes: careful observation of the facts, definition of objectives, course development, sequential organization of learning, breakdown into learning stages, definition of prerequisites, verification of prior learning, diagnostic evaluation, identification of students' level of achievement as a basis for learning. What counts in the behaviorist model is to succeed in doing and not to understand everything. Behaviorist pedagogy is based on experimentation and scientific measurement. We want results. What is interesting is what is observed. So we are only concerned with behavior. Hence, the use of evaluable objectives, very simple objectives, because everything must be observable. Errors in this model can come from a poor definition of the objective by the teacher, from a too high objective. If we only deal with the prerequisites, we cannot differentiate. Insufficient number of repetitions, that is, lack of training. The lack of reinforcement, importance of positive reinforcement and encouragement. Cognitivist pedagogy is interested in mental strategies and problem-solving modes implemented by the learner. This model distinguishes between different types of knowledge: declarative knowledge, that is given knowledge; procedural knowledge, that is know-how; and conditional knowledge, that is contextualization. And different types of strategies: enumeration strategies, that is memorization list; development strategies, that is links between information; organizational strategies, that is structuring of information; comprehension control strategies, that is metacognition, affective strategies, that is control of affects. This model benefits from the contribution of neuroscience, that is, we are in the head of the student, different areas in action, connections between hemispheres, and so on. But also cybernetics and computer science, that is, learning is conceived as an information processing. All information requires processing. In cognitivist pedagogy, to learn is to process information. It is to establish a link, to make connections. Sensitive information becomes a coded message acceptable to the neurons, that is, electrical signals. Constructivist pedagogy. The constructivist theory stated by Piaget is based on a biological conception of learning. The ability to learn is linked to the development of the child because learning is not the same thing at every stage. The construction of thought takes place in stages with varying degrees of abstraction. In the constructivist model, there is learning when the obstacle appears. This disruption of balance causes a conflict of understanding at the level of the student, who must adapt by modifying their old patterns or creating new ones. The teaching aims to equip the student with operating tools, allowing him to consider a point of view other than his or hers. In a constructivist pedagogy, you, as a mathematics teacher, must build situations favorable for the emergence of socio-cognitive conflicts. Socio-constructivist pedagogy. Socio-constructivist pedagogy was developed by Vygotsky. For her, learning is a social fact. Collaborative activities and imitation of peers and the teacher promote cognitive development. Mediation makes it possible to move from what the child can do to what the child cannot do. In socio-constructivist pedagogy, the teacher must allow the student to succeed in collaboration, which he will be able to achieve tomorrow on his own. Thus, the teacher allows activities to be simulated without taking the place of the student. In general, interaction between peers is fundamental. It is the pedagogy of interaction, of group work. The teacher must put in place a system that allows everyone to progress in a heterogeneous group. He is an accompanist, mediator, and provides guidance in the classroom. There are several theories or models of learning. Each model has its own logic and consistency. There is no single best learning theory. Each has its advantages and disadvantages. It is your responsibility as mathematics teacher to vary the pedagogy used according to the activities to be carried out in your classroom. However, to be able to make a choice, it is necessary to master each theory and to know the characteristics of each one. It is difficult to make a detailed synthesis in a single training unit of all these theories, which is why we invite you to complete the content of this video through additional content, and in particular, the related bibliographic resources. As you know, coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress. Working together is success. Don't forget to share your ideas and questions in the forum. You can also go to the TTP COP platform via the following link in order to discuss with the members of your cluster. Alone, we go faster, and together, we always go further. See you soon in the next training unit.